Welcome to Community Voices with your host, Terrence Lachey. This radio roundtable features community, business, and religious leaders that discuss current events and topics that impact our urban community. If you would like to be a guest or if you have a suggested topic, contact the station today at 616-259-7342. Now, into the program.
Hey, welcome back to Community Voices. I'm Terrence Lachey. We're excited to talk to a guest here in the studio about something really physical, but also mental, probably even spiritual. But we get an opportunity here on Community Voices to bring you news, happenings, and information around the city as well as the greater Grand Rapids area, West Michigan overall. But I'm excited to do that. Today we've got REGGIE MACON here. REGGIE, welcome.
Welcome. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thanks for being here, man. I'm excited about talking online, what we talked about offline,
right?
And that's like fighting and tearing things up. No, there's more to it than that. Reggie is the founder and the CEO of BattleGround JKD LLC. Let's talk a little bit about that.
So the JKD part of BattleGround is Jeet Kune Do, which is Bruce Lee's martial arts.
Okay.
So I've been doing that.
I grew up on Bruce Lee movies. I'm talking the original ones. Yeah.
Not the actors playing Bruce Lee, but the actual Bruce Lee.
The real deal.
Enter the game.
So
and
that tells you how old I am. Enter the Dragon.
Enter the Dragon,
Yeah. Chinese Connection, all of that.
Just like you, my father, he was like big into the old Wu-Tang Kung Fu movies. And Bruce Lee, of course, Chuck Norris, the whole nine. So watching him growing up, I actually had the opportunity. My instructor and I actually worked together.
Okay.
But for 2 months, he chased me down like, "Hey man, you look like a guy that can fight." I'm like, I'm originally from Chicago. I'm like, if I need to fight, I can.
Right.
Like,
You said Chicago. You said enough right there. You
so
said
I'm like,
enough.
if I need to fight, but
Detroit and Chicago. Those two, right?
So he's like, no, I train, I do this. I'm like, yeah, okay. At the time I was playing semi-pro football and basketball, so it's like, I play sports. I don't need to get into no fighting and all that. And he's like, two months he was consistent. Like, dude, just come check it out. If you like it, we'll go from there. Talk about pricing. Went one day, and from there, 17 years later, I still been doing it. So,
and now you're doing your own thing.
Yep. So he didn't charge me a dime. He actually put me on a 5-year apprenticeship.
Nice.
As long as I signed a contract saying that I would teach after I graduated my apprenticeship, and I completed my 5 years and 4.5 years, because once I got there, I was all in.
You're ready.
I was like, oh babe, this Bruce Lee stuff, so. Then did that. Didn't teach right away due to the fact that I was still trying to find my way, make sure I had the money for bills and stuff like that, because a lot of times you have struggling martial artists, but I didn't want to be that person, so made sure the finances and stuff was good, and it's like, all right, I think I'm ready. But I was a part of an organization that shed the light on trafficking.
Right.
And at the time I had only one daughter, and I had a goddaughter. And hearing the stats and stuff behind trafficking for little kids and women, I was like, all right, I got all this knowledge that I have. Why keep it to myself? And I started going from there, and I started with just kids and women.
Right. Teaching them self-defense.
Teaching them self-defense,
sure.
how situational awareness, how to read body language, not always being oblivious. So just like the military, I incorporated the color coding system into martial arts of being aware of situational awareness.
Sure.
So white would be oblivious. You just out most of the times you'll see kids or women, or even us as men, we fall in line on walking through the parking lot and just being on our phone and not paying attention to what's going on around us. So yellow will be, okay, I'm cautious. Orange will be more, okay, I'm aware. And red, I don't want people being red or black due to the fact red is like just I'm paranoid, and black is like I'm blacked out to the point where I don't know what's going on. And I know what's going on, but I'm just not enjoying the moment because I'm too busy trying to make sure everything.
Paranoid or almost fearful.
Fearful. So I like to tell people to stay in yellow due to the fact, like, if you and I didn't know each other and we were walking down the street, a lot of times people would break eye contact and look away, and that's showing signs of weakness. I want people to walk with confidence
and look directly in the eye of the person.
Make eye contact. Hey, how you doing? Let the person know. Acknowledge that person. Let them know, hey, I'm not going to be a victim today.
I see you.
That
kind of thing. Yeah.
So and that's how I break it down. So it's like being aware and letting people know, not cocky, but I'm confident enough to walk the streets without feeling like okay, is somebody gonna jump out on me?
Well, I like what you said about situational awareness. Let me do this real quick. For those who might just be tuning in or just focusing on what this conversation is about, Reggie MACON is the CEO and founder of BattleGround JKD. I had an experience yesterday with my sister. We were in Detroit. We were from Detroit, and we went to a restaurant to eat lunch. And I have to sit with my back to a wall and not to the door.
I was gonna get into that
or
too.
not to a window.
Right.
I need to see at least maybe a 360 of the room.
Right.
At least 180 or two. I got to see what's going on, and that's just a natural instinct. Just growing up in a hypervigilant environments and space. But you mentioned a cause here. You mentioned that you became aware of human trafficking, and this became an inroad for you to help people in general. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So the trafficking part stuck to me due to the fact, like I said, I had a young daughter at the time.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to get a call or get anything saying that, hey, my daughter's gone, or with my wife working and having to be in a parking garage. And a lot of times these are a lot of scenes
you
or scenarios.
A lot of movies, right?
Yeah, and I did a lot of research on it too. So in the organization I was with, we actually raised up to $750,000 to put towards the FBI sting to shut down trafficking.
Human trafficking. Yeah.
And
that's great.
Some of the stuff with that is like just seeing that these are a lot of businessmen that's with families and stuff like that, and telling their loved ones or the other half, hey, I'm going on a business trip, but the whole time they're going on a boat to auction off kids, or getting these kids to auction off and doing God knows whatever with them.
Sure, this is real stuff.
Yeah. So it's like just seeing stuff like that, I'm like, and this is the world we live in, but it's not publicized as much due to the fact that a lot of these trafficking or the guys that's buying these kids are millionaires and billionaires, and it's like shutting them out of the media, not giving enough publicity, or giving the average person that don't know about it, giving enough insight on what's going on.
Sure. So, I think you're blessed to be in a position where you can bring your passion to the table for a worthy cause.
Yep.
Your personal passion as it relates to fighting or as it relates to the martial arts.
Yep.
Let's talk a little bit about that, because there's Taekwondo, there's Jiu-Jitsu, there's MMA, there's
Krav
wrestling.
Maga, it's so much.
And then there's just street fighting. So let's talk a little bit about that and how you came into this.
So I can't say I'm super biased, but I am biased when it comes to the arts, because Jeet Kune Do isn't made for sport.
Okay.
Because Jeet Kune Do
survival.
It's for survival. So when Bruce Lee, when he came up with it, it's a mixture of fencing, boxing, kung fu, and Wing Chun. Wing Chun,
you
everybody.
Throw some ballet in there too.
Yeah,
right? I told you I was a Bruce Lee.
Yeah, so it's a lot of acrobatical
I can call my cousin right now, and we're talking about Bruce Lee.
So the reason why he did that is because he's taking the best of all those and making his own.
Yeah.
Because I can sit here and teach 10 people in the room all the same tools, but our body expresses itself different,
and we're made up different,
and we're made different. So it's like not knocking other arts, but it's like they have things set in stone. You have to move a certain way. And it's like you can look at other people and say, hey, he's a Taekwondo practitioner, or he does this, just off the way they move, their fighting style.
Sure.
You can't look at a Jeet Kune Do practitioner and say, hey, he does Jeet Kune Do, unless
why is that?
Unless you're looking at his leg, because one calf muscle will be bigger than the other.
Because of the workout.
Yeah, because the way you work.
So how is that different?
Because, like I said, our bodies move different. Our bodies are all set different.
Does size have anything to do with it? Because you're a pretty tall guy.
No, size is funny because Kareem Abdul-Jabbar used to be a JKD practitioner.
He was in a couple movies.
Yeah, he was in a couple movies as well. But he was actually Jim Kelly.
Yeah.
But Kareem was actually a student of Bruce Lee's.
Yeah.
And it's like size. It's like Bruce Lee is here, Kareem is sitting up here. But I
think I had that poster.
With the big footprint on his chest with the yellow suit. So, but it's not really size, because I have some guys that's way smaller than me, but they might be a little quicker. Or you might have guys that's big, they can flow and move, but it's not as quick as the younger guy or the smaller guys. But the strikes and everything else, you can have a guy that's only 140 pounds and will have 140 pounds 140 pounds of pressure behind their punch.
Yeah.
Because you're putting your body behind
it. And they know how to throw all of that.
You know how to throw it. Yeah. So it's.
Well, let's talk about the mind, body, and soul connection, or mind, body, spirit connection. My son, my kids, my daughter too, all went through Taekwondo.
Yes,
we had a Christian instructor who, shout out to Troy Baker. Some kids in the community might know him, but he's adamant about making sure that they are situationally aware and that the students do know how to defend themselves in the case of a situation. Abduction was one of the things that he wanted to make sure that they learned how to avoid. So let's talk about that mind, body, and soul connection.
It's I would say spiritual in a way. I'm not too big. I mean, I don't make my class about religion or anything, but it's being able to control the emotions help you in a fight. So it's like once you can control, everybody hears martial arts and the first thing they think is about throwing hands. It's like, no, you have to become, and I hate to sound cliche, but you have to become one with yourself first, due to the fact that
grounded, settled.
You know what ticks you. You know what buttons that if it's pushed, how you will react. So when that button is pushed, instead of you just going off the wall, okay, now I'm in a situation. Let me calm down, because once adrenaline kicks in, endorphins and all that, like you start to lose a lot of your fine motor skills due to the fact it's just adrenaline. It's like, okay, calm down, take a deep breath, process before reaction. So, and that's a lot of things that I teach my kids in my youth class. And in that class, we also don't just teach them martial arts. We go over, I incorporate financial literacy and entrepreneurship in my youth class. Yeah. We talk about, we meet every Tuesday and Thursday. I'll give them a flashcard on Tuesday with a word pertaining to either category. Thursday, they would come in with a sentence definition and how can they apply that word to their everyday life. Nice. So that's before every class start. And then we also have a mantra. Before every class and after every class, we close out with, just because I know how to fight doesn't mean I have to fight, but it's okay to defend myself. And a lot of times kids come in here, it's like, yeah, I'm learning this, I'm finna go fight. Like, no. By the time you get done with class, you'll be like, for one, you'll be too tired to go fight anybody. But it's just understanding that for everything we do, we have a consequence, and for every action, there's a reaction. So before going out trying to be this bully or do anything, just think about not only how you're affecting that person, but the people around them as well. Sure. So it's a lot of times people don't take into account that, yes, I'm harming this person, but it's a lot of eyewitnesses around, and it don't just stop at them. Like, a lot of people around you, they see the trauma or they see what's going on, and it's not so much that they become scared of you, but they become like, okay, this ain't the person I want to be around. Right. You know what I'm saying? So it's like just teaching the kids, starting with the kids, respect, accountability, like, and teaching them how to not only respect one person, but everybody that's around. Yeah. Because nowadays you can sit on the porch and the kids will walk down the street and they still cussing. Like when we was coming up, we might be cussing our little group, but we see adults, we like, okay, y'all better shut up. Like, but nowadays
there was a certain level of honor and respect that went with the whole village. Things have changed over the years, and I know there's some generations between us, but I can relate to growing up in an urban setting where our pastime was learning how to do kung fu. Or there was even a television show called Kung Fu that we watched. And David Carradine, right? Okay, John Carradine and David Carradine. And it excited us, but it also occupied our thinking. I don't think I've ever had to use it. I took
when you with your friends.
I took a Taekwondo class as a kid, and I just don't think that I've ever had to use it. My kids could say differently. Maybe some of the discipline. I don't know.
It's different nowadays, but yeah.
But think about how it's an alternative to the gun violence. It's an alternative to some of the predictors, the preemptive predictors of our community. Talk a little bit about that. You and your wife and some other family members are involved in this, and I love to hear success stories. The business has been around for how long?
3.5 years. I actually started out of my garage.
Okay. So now you have an actual location.
I have a physical location. We're located downtown Market and Wealthy, 342 Market Street. Okay. If people that's familiar with the Grand Rapids area, it's the little old Amtrak.
Yeah, I was going to say that's the
We're in a warehouse right behind it. So we've been there for about 3.5 years.
Give the address again.
342 Market.
Market Street.
Yep. So it's right downtown. But I took the leap of faith, having a conversation with my wife, and it's like, hey, I was working a job and some family stuff came up, and the job was like, hey, I understand you got some family stuff, but we need you. I'm like, dude, I know you need me, but my family really needs me right now. So
I like your priorities.
So it's like, after that, taking experience, my dad always told me, once you find a gap or something that needs to be fixed, whatever, use what you know to use it. Yeah. I mean, to fix it. So fill that void.
Find a gap, fill it, yeah.
So, and I was like, okay, now, we need to have this talk. I want to get your opinion. As my wife, as my other half, if I completely walk away from this job and jump full head into this, do I have your blessing? And her words was, I've been waiting on you.
Wow.
So I was like, what?
That's encouraging.
I'm like, yeah. So I'm like,
how long y'all been married?
We've been married. It'll be 14 years, August 14th.
There you go.
So
that's togetherness.
So,
yeah.
So she was like, I've been waiting on you.
She's like, that's my man. I'm sticking with it.
Right. Right. So it wasn't so much of, if this what you want to do. She was like, I just been waiting. I didn't want to tell you because I didn't want you to think that I'm trying to push you, but I wanted to wait until you was ready.
Wow.
So when I said that, I'm like, okay, gave my job to 2 weeks. Bought mats and stuff for the garage.
Went all the way in.
And I had about 8 kids that I started training. It started with one of them. One of the ladies that worked with my wife was like, don't your husband train? It's like, yeah. Started with him. Of course, my daughters, I've been training them since they were about 4.
How old are they now?
I have a 14-year-old and an 11-year-old.
Great. Now, they're probably instructors, right?
Yeah, they're my youth instructors now. So they actually help me run the youth class. But it's just being able to build and find success. And it's not all about money.
Right.
With me, yes, we have to pay bills. Don't get me wrong, and money, to some people define success.
No.
But my goal is to help one person at least become 1% better every day.
Wow.
So
there's a motivational factor here.
Yeah.
There's also the humanity of giving back to your community, stopping things that could potentially be detrimental to somebody, but then also fulfilling your dream. I mean, you light up. I was telling somebody earlier that interviews become easy when you find a person's passion and you just ask them to tell us about it. Tell us about your passion. And I mean, I don't have to probe you with questions, but there's a listening audience that may want to know, how can I get involved? Is this, is it pretty expensive? You don't have to give prices or anything like that. But people listening might want to get their persons involved. I understand that you have the beginners courses and then you also have the professional courses, which means that adults my age and older could potentially be a part of this.
My oldest client, and I can't say old, but she's older than
most
everybody.
Mature.
Yeah, mature. She's aged well. She is 60. She'll be 67 this year.
Nice.
And when she first came to me a year and a half ago, she was on a verge of pretty much being in a walker and stuff like that because I can't necessarily say she gave up on life, but it was a lot of times where she was just like, you know what, hey, I'm here, don't worry about it. Yeah, so getting there, now she's like throwing kicks and punching and she's active. Like just seeing her, the way her motor skills now compared to when she started, like that's when I light up. Like that's, how a carpenter or a construction worker, when they get done with something, they look back and like, yeah, I did that. Now I look at my students or my clients like, that's awesome. Yeah, that's part of me right there.
So you've been at it for a little while. You may have some kids who've now grown up besides your daughters.
Yep. So, and it's getting like, I can't say success stories, but getting some stories from the parents. Like a couple of my students were getting bullied before they came to me. And I'm like, I've always been the one to beat up the bullies in high school. So it's like, I didn't know martial arts back then. Right?
You're the black Steven Seagal.
But it's just like hearing stories of, my daughter actually stood up for herself and, now the person don't mess with them anymore. Those type of stories, getting those inboxes on.
Let's get into that though, because it's not a matter of just the physical defense. It's a matter of the mind.
Yep.
And then being settled in identity of knowing who you are and walking. You can look at people who have been involved with martial arts, the way they walk.
Yeah, they walk with a confidence. Their chest is out, and it's like it's not so much of, as they would call it, peacocking, but it's hey, I have a sense of confidence. I know who I am.
Well, you mentioned before looking people in the eye.
Yeah, and that's big on some people. They would, they can be some of the biggest, manliest men you'll know, but then they have a conversation. And, and they'll look off to the side. It's like, brother, I'm right here.
Self-esteem.
So, but just understanding the confidence and being able to stand up for yourself, and that's why I say, being one with self and knowing that it's like, as long as you know how to, I call it verbal jujitsu.
Okay.
De-escalate a situation without physically putting your hands on somebody. How to talk somebody down, or a lot of times we go through life and we are so hooked on us. We don't take into accountability what other people are going through in their life.
Sure.
So
somebody may be having a really bad
day.
A
really bad day. And it's like, for instance,
a bad week or a bad month
right.
or a bad year.
So it's like, it was a time I was at a gas station and I saw a lady was getting into it with another lady over, I guess it was a pump or something. And I don't always do this, but it's like I'm like, hey, ma'am, how you doing? You want me to pump your gas for you? She was like, oh, that'd be so great, you know. And it's like, and I'm like, and I asked her, like, how your day going? Like, how you been? What's going on?
You help de-escalate that situation.
Yeah, so, and she's like, that's the first time somebody asked me that all week. Like, I just got a lot of stuff going on. She lost her father.
Oh,
so,
wow.
And I'm like, you know, he must have been somebody really close to you, because I can see you wearing it on your face. You're wearing your emotions. She's like, yeah. She broke down. I'm like, oh, I didn't mean it to get here, but but now that it's out, I would rather her get it out now.
Love. People are people all over the world, and regardless of our differences, we're more alike than different.
Yep. So, but like I said, we just so stuck on us, we get blinded by everyday life.
Man, this is an exciting conversation. Seriously, it's refreshing to hear, a young black male who has given his life to helping other people, but also practices it every single day, every single day.
Yeah, and some people think it's a stunt. It's like, why are you acting like this?
I can tell by your passion. I can tell by your passion that it's the real deal.
Right.
And I feel safe around you.
Yep.
Let's talk a little bit about how people can get involved with the programs. Do you run programs by like a semester or so many weeks, and then you get another start, or people could just start at any time?
They start at any time. I do want to highlight, we have a free women's self-defense program coming up on the 26th of July. Yep. So it's next week, Friday. We are throwing the program is called Empower Her.
Oh yeah.
Self-defense self-defense workshop.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, so we'll be doing that, and it's a free event.
Now, do you do custom? Like if somebody wants to bring you into their organization?
Yes, we do. We provide all that, and that's what we're trying to get out more now, because at first it was everything in-house. Like I want to be a part of corporate offices, teaching them exit strategies, shooter situations and stuff like that.
Or even de-escalating violence.
So it's like how to pretty much be safe no matter where you are.
Yeah.
So it's like I've worked with some people in the past that were firearm instructors that help churches on situational awareness, also active shooter situations and stuff like that.
Fight is one of the elements of an active shooter situation.
Fight or flight or fright.
Sure.
Because a lot of times in fright mode, we sit and we're stuck still.
We become debilitated.
Yeah, so it's like we just froze in the moment. But the Empower Her is something that I'm super passionate about. We're partnering up with Amplify GR.
Okay.
And we're going to be at the Boston Square Church. We have 60 spaces. We have 21 filled already. And we're just trying to get as many women to come in. You will get a door prize just for showing up. You're going to, get some material stuff, but you're also going to leave with a
Listen, ladies, I don't think you can go wrong here. At least just to get exposed to what it means to be able to stand in a posture of self-defense and not become a victim. Everything doesn't have to be, life-threatening violence, but it could definitely be a confidence builder for someone. Give the date and the location of this again.
It is July 26th, and it's 1803 Kalamazoo.
Okay.
It's at Boston Square Church. It's from 6 to 8. And we just ask people to go to the website. It's actually an event tab on the website that you can RSVP. Super easy, just a name, first and last name, and the email address.
Sure, give them the website.
So the website is BattleGroundJKD.LLC.com. And it's just go to the events tab and go right to the women's self-defense tab and just register that way. I got a few surprises that's going to be there. So, but I don't want to give too much with that. But it's definitely going to be a good thing, because I would rather. I say it all the time, and sound super cliche. It's like insurance. I'd rather have it and not need it, and need it and not have it.
Well, don't ever worry about sounding like a cliche, because you know what makes a cliche is how many times people say it.
Exactly.
But you want people to keep saying it.
Yeah, you want people to keep saying it.
So it's relevant, and I think that what you're doing is, like I said, making the difference in the lives of people. You're targeting, in this particular event, women who want to learn things about self-defense, or who may even be in a stage in their lives where they need that empowerment. I brought up the part about the mind, body, soul connection because I know Taekwondo specifically can help people to become healthier. You mentioned the endorphins and all of that. Use these last few minutes to talk about the benefits. What do I walk away with, male or female? Young or
just
old. What do I walk away with?
I would say it's not just boxing in JKD, but martial arts in general. You have a better sense of health, a better sense of your mind, because it teaches you discipline. A lot of people here fighting, like I said, martial arts, and they think strictly fighting. You walk away from way more fights than you actually have.
Get into.
Yeah, so it's just understanding the body in itself. Like, you start to listen more to the body, because when you're not doing martial arts or doing anything, you might wake up, I got an ache here and there. It's like, okay, this ache is coming from somewhere. What's going on? So just understanding and listening to your body, it makes you want to be healthier, because it's like, hey, that class was tough. I can't be lagging behind.
Exactly.
And start to second guess that second plate, or do I really need this other donut? Sure, it's like, and it's not for everybody.
So it could launch somebody into a more health awareness program of them.
Yeah, and it's I would say it's a gate into a healthier life, because
I like that. Yeah.
Once you start martial arts and start doing things and start to see the exercise and everything inside of the training, you start to take back or hold back on some of the cravings. It's like, okay, if I do this, I might not be able to do that last burpee, or
right.
that kick might not get as high next time.
Exactly.
So it just opens the gates of you being more conscious on what you're putting in the body, because you start to understand the body's a temple, the whole nine. Once you understand the body's a temple, you start to look at different things. You start to look at things differently.
Yeah. From my background in persuasion of Christianity, I honestly believe that we need to be mind, body, and soul conscious. We definitely need to be good stewards over it. And this sounds to me like a stewardship opportunity where people could be really, like you said, conscious and aware of their physical health, their mental well-being, as well as their surroundings. I know some of the smartest people in the world that are oblivious to their space and their environment. And then I know some really hypervigilant and violent people who are not very smart. So you have to find that balance somewhere in between. This is a great opportunity for people to do it. I'm wishing you the very best, and I hope that our listening audience is also considering this. They could buy a gift certificates, or perhaps send their child or send their grandchild or a neighbor or a friend. Couples could come together to learn how to do that. We are living in perilous times, and I'm not an advocate of violence at all, but I do know that self-defense, I like the mantra. Say the mantra again.
Just because I know how to fight doesn't mean I have to fight, but it's okay to defend myself.
Man, I've been living by that my whole life, and I didn't know it was a thing.
But one more thing I would like to really shed light, because I'm, of course, a male, but I super big on men mental health.
Absolutely.
So I've started my own men's mental health group.
Okay.
We meet every second and fourth Sunday. It's usually I partnered up with Heroes Corner. That's with Reggie Howard over on 48th and Eastern.
Okay.
It's 4809 Eastern. We usually meet from about 2 to 4. Just a group of guys. It's not always, the sad talks. It's just a fellowship of guys getting together, having a safe space without feeling judged. So we get together. Somebody might have something on their chest. This is the time to get it out. Or we also plan to do like outings. We might go do some barbecuing or something, like just a men getting together outside of their homes to have that space to come to. Because my father passed a couple years ago, and I was looking for a space to enter, to, a group to be a part of. And the ones that I found, it was a lot of our counterparts that didn't have the same issues that I did. So like getting people that look like me and having some of the same issues, it made it 10 times better, and getting it off, and it's been helping. So if any man that's out there looking, I can share some information with that too, because I'm super big on that. And us as black men, we're not told that we're doing good, or we're not checked on.
We don't have outlets.
And we're not checked on. Like we might, myself, I'm always the one reaching out, checking on people. And you don't get too many people doing that for us. So I created that space for that too. So,
well, Reggie, I'm glad you're here today. And I'm glad that you're sharing this. And hey, listen, I think that you do well to get in touch with this guy and to talk to him about what programs. You probably got a few more ideas. And your wife. You want to send a shout out to your wife?
Yeah, big shout out to my wife. Her name is Chandra Macon, the love of my life for the last 19 years. We've been married. It took me 5 years to propose, but we've been married for 14 years, I guess, as of August 14th. But I give all of the credit and my success to her, because they say behind every strong black man there's a strong black woman, and she's definitely she's strong.
Well, it looks like you guys are walking side by side, I think that it's a God thing for you all to have this agreement. The power of agreement alone is something that
and togetherness is it makes a big difference.
Well, together we are better.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm a newlywed as well. 37 years. Right?
There we go.
But I'm looking at this. This is some nice swag here. I like this. It says changing mindsets today.
Yep.
All right. So we want to make sure that we go to BattleGround JKD LLC.com.
Yep.
Great.
And on the inside we have our little saying.
Think, process, then respond.
Yes.
Great. Listen, thank you so much for being here today. I'd love to stay in touch with what's going on. If you have other events, feel free to bring it back. We are going to close out today.
Appreciate it.
After having you here, I got to go back and watch some of my Taekwondo movies and get in touch with that part of myself once again.
Yep.
Listen, thanks for tuning in to another edition of Community Voices on 91.9 FM, The People's Choice. I'm Terrence Lachey, and I'm glad you tuned in.
Been listening to Community Voices with your host, Terrence Lachey. Community Voices can be heard every Friday at 12 noon. This radio roundtable features community, business, and religious leaders that discuss current events and topics that impact our urban community. If you would like to be a guest, or if you have a suggested topic, contact the station today at 616-259-7342. Until next week, let your voice be heard in the community.